identify which DFF we want to enable. Then we choose the DFF and what field and what kind of attribute, what kind of values, all those we'll have to decide. And then we have to add values to the value set. And then we have to sign out and sign back in. Okay. Signing out and signing back in is often critical, particularly, in these cases, these are all HTML pages. So these pages don't always get refreshed properly. So you might have to do this sign out, sign in, and then you might have to, close the browser totally, refresh your cache, and then again sign back in. Okay. Now, let me show you. Let's first identify where we can put a DFF. Let's go to person management. And see, in this case, usually if you find in the regular environments, the person numbers are like 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, they start from, with 3 followed by so many zeros, 3, 3, 6, 7 zeros. So just be careful about these things. So and this is the employment screen, and let me show you the person screen. So here you have name, address, or communication methods, or this biographical info, national identifier. Each of them has a DFF. Now, how will you know whether there is a DFF or not? That is one question. So here there are a number of ways you can see this. One is you can click here, and there is something called as highlight flex fields. Okay. Now these fields here, why do you need to highlight is the fields are nowadays very well merged with the application. So when it is merged with the application fields itself, so see here, if you look at a field here, it's very difficult to make out if that is a descriptive flex field or not. Right? So you can't just make out looking at the field. So instead, if you can highlight the flex fields, it's better, because then you will get to see a small icon which shows you where the flex field can be configured. So see here, nothing is visible here. I click on this. See this? It was earlier not visible. Do you see
So
this?
it highlights, yeah. So it highlights where I can add a descriptive flex.
Yes, means basically if there is a flex field, it will be added over here.
Okay.
If there is already one configured, then that will get highlighted over here also.
Okay, okay.
All right. So this is one way in which you can click here and you can configure the descriptive flex field from here. Okay. So I click on this.
So basically, descriptive flex fields you cannot configure in everywhere where you want.
Correct.
Only where it's
if you remember when I had told you, these are linked to a particular screen. DFF is linked to the form or the screen and is displayed only in that form or screen. You see this point number 4? I'm highlighting that. My cursor is moving on it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, wherever you want that field can't be shown. It can only be shown on that particular screen or form. It will only be shown there. So when I clicked on that configure flex field, it directly brings me over here, which is the person attributes flex field. Okay. Name of the flex field is person attributes. Now let me show you another way we can come here. The result is going to be the same. I go to setup and maintenance. I search for descriptive flex field here. I get manage person descriptive flex fields. This one is again playing up. See, it's not actually from here. When you are searching, it will give you the descriptive list of descriptive flex fields, and from there you can see this. So this person descriptive flex field will have a list of flex fields. See this. Okay. As you can see, this is all DFF. This is citizens DFF. This is contact relationship, email address, ethnicities, national identifier, persons DFF, person address usage DFF, allocated tags DFF. So depending on which DFF you want to enable, you have to click on that corresponding DFF. Clear? Okay. Silence.
So, can you go back?
Yeah.
In that URL again? So these are the only places. Basically, these are from
Yes.
right?
These are all from the names you can make out. We had a national identifiers section in that form. So that's the national identifier. There's an ethnicity. There is an email address. Okay.
Okay. So these are the only places we can configure the descriptive flex.
Yes. So if I were to go back here, and I'll show you that. See this national identifier. This is actually the person's legislative info, communication, email. Then you have the phones. Okay. Phone, email, person. So everything you can see here. Okay. Let's say I want to configure another field at the person level where I will call it as, it can be anything. I'm just thinking out of my head. So I'll call it as father's name. And when I am defining it, I will prefix it with my name initial and I will say SP father's name. Now you might ask, why did I choose this? So like on PAN and all, you have the father's name, right? So that's one critical field where HR might say, oh, I want it over there so that I can quickly validate, or finance may ask for it that do capture this information for every employee separately so that we can validate it against each person, whether that is right or wrong. Now, based on that, I have requirement. Let's say I've configured this, something called as father's name. Here, there is a data type. So you have to choose between date, number, character, okay, or date and time. Let's say I call it character. Based on the data type, the column will appear here. This is attribute one. If I choose number, it will become attribute number one. If I choose date, it will become attribute date one. Okay. So let's say I keep it as character for now. And here there is something called as a value set. Value set defines what kind of characters you are going to allow in that particular field. Since this is a character type of attribute, I can either create a new value set or I can use an existing value set. So let's say I want to use an existing value set. So there are different types of value sets already defined which I can use. Like this one is 30 characters. Once I choose this, I can do view value set to look at the attributes of that particular value set. What type of value set it is? It is 30 characters. So the length, see the maximum length here is 30 characters. Inside, forget the module. Module is not that important here. Format only means it will only take care of the format. That's it. Nothing else will be validated. You can enter whatever value you want. What other things you can do on the format? You can have like something like a min and max, which is applicable in case of a number. For a character, it's not really applicable. Then you have this whether it's uppercase only or not. Uppercase means it will only appear in the uppercase. Okay. So this might be applicable in case of characters, or whether it is zero fill. Zero fill means whether it is prefixed with a zero, prefixed or postfixed with zero. Okay. So I'm not doing anything here. I'm just leaving it as characters. So I save it, then I call it, then I say save and close. Now over here, one small change I will do. See, this is the prompt that is displaying. Prompt says SP father's name also. This underscore looks a bit odd. I will do a cosmetic change and say father. And this one I will make it mix of. Okay. And display size is how many characters will be displayed. So I can have it like 15 or 20. Or if I want a longer field, I'll just leave it blank. System will just take the default one.
The display size shouldn't be the same maximum character which I have given.
You can. Sometimes what happens, if it is 30, it might look very big, or you may not want all that big, depending on the length of the fields that are there. So it all depends on what you want actually. So then you have save and close. Save and close.
One thing, okay. You'll come back to value sets later, or?
Yes, there are more value sets. I'll show you all of them. Now, once you have come here, you need to deploy the flex field. You see this button here? This deploy flex field means that you're telling the system, I am done with defining my field. Now you need to create it. You need to do whatever you need to do on the backend side. So on the backend, what it basically does is it takes whatever you have defined and creates what we call as a view of whatever we have entered. So behind the scene, you saw that attribute one character, that value field is there in the database already. It is creating a mapping between my SP father's name field that I have defined and the field in the database. So it just creates a pointer when we are doing this deploy. So now the deployment status should be green ticked. That means it's done. So at this point, on this happy note, I will sign out. Better I close this. The name of the person will not matter because it is not linked to the person data. What matters is the screen. Oh, so here I click on this and I get person. You see here? Can you see this?
Yes.
So this field, now looking at this, other than this SP appearing here, you really can't make out which is a descriptive flex field,
Correct. Yeah.
right? They just look the same.
So I'll
that is
highlight it
why,
again.
yes,
Yeah.
when you highlight it, that helps you to identify which one is a descriptive flex field. Okay. Shivani, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So what did
One
we do?
question.
Let me just do a quick recap. We first looked at the name of the DFF. We edited it, went into the attributes, gave it an attribute, chose a value set, and next we'll see values. Here really we will not have values because it's a name. So you can't possibly have a list of all possible names. That will be too big a value set. So we will leave it as, that's why we leave it as format only. Clear? Name fields are usually format only unless it's a restricted list of names, like list of employee names. Okay, or name of you know, name of users, or name of managers, something like that, which is just a very small list, or a finite list, you can say. All right.
Yeah. One question.
Yes.
Once we deploy a flex field, how do I delete it or remove it? Can we do
So
that?
I can click on this. Okay. So here, this is all about the data type. If I come here, it will only allow me to make change to the field itself. So to do anything with the descriptive flex field itself, I'll have to configure descriptive flex field. Come here, edit, click on this, and here's the delete
Just
button.
delete it. Okay. So just delete it.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, let me next show you how we can create the other types of flex fields. So for that, there may not be too much of logic in why I'm putting it on those fields and screens. Okay. So I'm just putting it, so that we can see it basically. That's it. So there's no logic why I am putting it over there, okay, or what value sets I'm trying to put. So for example, I'll just show you something. So then you can think about it later on. You can put it somewhere else also, not a problem. You can use any of these flex fields. And here, when you see, let's say this email, where is that? Email addresses, okay. Let's say I want to have two things. One is a domain name and one is the email ID. For example, domain name can be Google, and I will have like google.com, google.in as a value, or I could have domain name as Microsoft and or domain provider, and then the email ID could be live.com or hotmail.com or outlook.com, whatever, values. So that's what I'm going to configure right now. So for that, I again come here, I add a global segment and I call this SP domain provider. Data type, character, attribute 1, and I'm going to create my value set because that is something specific that I need, right? It will not exist before, so I'll call it SP domain provider. Best thing on this module, keep it as person common.
What is a module? What is
Module
basically
is a section of a screen, you can say. So you have like the person as a whole, as a entity. So within person, you will have smaller sections, email address or common set of person fields, or payroll or compensation and all of that.
So how do I select the correct module? So you know that that's why you entered.
Yeah,
But
so
for
here you can see a list of values. If you see last time, system had automatically chosen that incentive compensation. So it didn't matter how we chose it, right? So this one won't matter. Since it is at the person level, I choose the person common. Next, I go to independent. This is an independent value, so I'm going to have a predefined list of values. See, over here, there is a manage values, which is right now disabled. Okay. It will get enabled only when I choose that save, when I click the save button. So values type, text, maximum length, I will call it as 20. And then I click the save button. Once I click save, it will become manage values. And then I add. So I say Yahoo. I add Google. Let's say Microsoft. These by default, they'll be enabled. So you don't need to put a start date, end date. Start date, end date becomes important if you want to either disable it or you want to have multiple versions of it. Right now it is Yahoo. Tomorrow you try to make it something else and stuff like that. In that case, the dates may be important. So again, this save and close, save and close, save and close. It's like that during the mantra we say that na saha saha saha, like that. Was just saying nama nama nama, like that. So then we say till we come to this deploy flex field. Okay, right now see the deployment status. If you bring your cursor here, it says edited. This is where you can look at the error messages, if any. Then you say deploy flex field.
Saurabh, I have one question. So for creating any DFFs, right? I was thinking we have to go to the manage descriptive flex field, but we have to go to this manage person descriptive flex field.
Mm-hmm.
So which UI, like which task from where we create descriptive flex fields?
Like I showed you, this one, you search for descriptive. So it will get you all the descriptive flex fields that you can have. From here, you click on the person descriptive flex field. Like when I searched for it, it showed me the complete, all the tasks that have the word descriptive in them.
Okay.
Okay. So from here, I click on the manage person descriptive flex field. If I know where it is, I can directly go there. I see it is under workforce function information. Suppose I am here. Okay. I don't know where it is. Let's say. So what do I need to do? I have to keep going through each one of them till I come to this workforce information where I will say, here is the descriptive flex field. Or if I know already, I'll straight away click on workforce information, click here or click here. I find this one easier. I don't need to bother to know where it is. I just put the word descriptive. I see a list. You see here, there are multiple places where they may appear, depending on what type of flex field I am using.
So basically, when we see here, right? So basically, it's the page on which we can add the descriptive flex field.
Correct.
Okay.
So like once we deployed it, it became green. So now I'm going to sign out. This one often gives a lot of pain to appear, email addresses. So be careful. In case, sometimes it doesn't appear, what you can do is you can go to history, search for ESLL. And these are the ones, so you just choose them and you can choose to delete them. Particularly whichever place it is to come, if that screen is there, just remove those screens so that, if any history is maintained there, it will remove it. In case it doesn't appear on the first or the second try. Otherwise, you just sign out and sign back in after closing the browser and signing back in. That should be good enough. What Oracle suggests is sign out and sign back in. And what I'm saying is that it doesn't always work. So I go to my client groups. I click on person management. Again, look for, this time I'll look for white. Adam White, and then I'm going to person. Email address is where we added it. So if we go to this email address, I see it here. See, there's nothing here, but you have to click on this arrow. Okay. See, this is where the descriptive flex field is enabled. Right now, nothing is appearing here. Right. So we have already deployed it. Everything is green. Okay. It should have come. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add another field here. There is already a SP domain provider, and I will call it SP email name. Character. And here again, I'm going to create a value set. I call it SP, email, name or type, whatever I want to say. Let's say email type. Again, I'll call it person comment. And validation is dependent. So this time I'm choosing a dependent one. So when I choose a dependent one, I have to choose it is based on which independent one. So I click on text and I again give it a 30 character maximum value. And here I have the value set code. Okay, so independent one. So independent is the one that I just now created. Email SP domain provider, I think I had called it. Domain provider. Okay, so I'm choosing that. So this is the SP domain provider. I click save. Okay, and the whole thing comes here. Then if I want to add values to it, I click on manage values and I can add a value here. Let's say I call this gmail.com. There's an independent value I'm linking it to Google. Then I add gmail.in, gmail.co.in, let's say, and it's going to be Google. Okay. Then I have Yahoo. Gmail, Yahoo, yahoo.co.in. Then Yahoo, Google, Microsoft. So I'll say live.com. Outlook.com. Live Outlook and Hotmail. You can have any number of combinations. Okay. So it's a very, very long list that you can add here and you can add as many values as you want. Only thing is the independent dependent pair must be predefined. So again, I do save and close, save and close, save and close.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Hmm.
When we were creating the descriptive Flexfield, when you open that UI, we created under the global context, right? What is down there with context thing? Can you explain that a little?
Yeah, let me finish this.
Okay. If I have to create, let's say, descriptive flex field on a contact UI, okay, I was just trying, okay. I looked into, I searched by descriptive thing, okay, what you said, and there was something called contact organization thing.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll tell you.
Now see, my two descriptive flex fields are showing. So if I click on SP domain provider, I get Google and I get a list of values here.